Okay. Hi, fifth grade. This is Miss Delonas. This is your practice session for Here Comes the Snow for Part 1. As a reminder, Part 1 is the part that's written on the top portion of your music, so that's the top line. If you want to take a highlighter and highlight that, that might be a good idea. You can also use colored pencils or markers if you want to circle certain instructions and certain parts. That might be a helpful idea for you to get ready for this. All right, so we have a 7-measure introduction, almost 8 measures. I want you to find measure 8 in your music. Now, as a reminder, while you're working on this, if I go too fast for you, if you need a minute to find a part in your music, you can always hit pause. If you didn't hear something, you can always hit stop. You can start it over again. You can rewind. Whatever you're listening to this on, your iPod or your computer, you can go ahead and rewind. You can hit pause. All right, so we're going to find measure 8 in our music, and that's our pickup into measure 9 on Here Comes the Snow. So here's that first part for you. Here comes the snow. Let's try that together. Great. All right, so then we keep going with, it's falling down, it's falling gently upon the ground. Here comes the snow, it's falling down, it leaves a blanket upon the ground, ground. Let's try that much. Here we go, from the beginning. And that brings us into the next section. As a reminder, at the beginning, part 1 is the only part that we'll be singing. Part 2 does not come in until right on the next page on measure 17. So right here we have snow, 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 snow. And then it repeats again at measure 21. Snow, 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 snow. Let's try that all together at measure 17. Ready? Here we go. At this point, you should be on measure 25, where it says floating above it. On this part, be very careful that you are singing the higher note when you are practicing this with part 2. So we're starting right here on this note, on peacefully. Just listen to it as I sing it. Peacefully the flakes of white are falling down on us tonight. Staying by the fireside or bundle up and go outside. Let's try that much. Ready on peacefully. Great. Now we're at measure 29. Measure 29 follows the same melody as we just sang. So we're on Down the Road Upon a Sleigh. Here we go. Down the road upon a sleigh, just having fun this winter day. Down a hill upon a sled, then snuggled in a winter bed. All right, so let's just try that whole thing from peacefully all the way up to snuggling in a winter bed. So we're back at measure 25. Here's your note, ready? That whole section. All right, then we have 2 measures of rest. Falling down, 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 down. Be very careful to make sure you're holding falling long enough because we do have a whole note there, a quarter note tied to a whole note. So right at measure 33, one more time. So we have rest, rest, falling down, 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 down. Rest, rest, falling down, down, down. Here comes the... Now, where do we go? There isn't a snow part. So what you want to do is look right above. Here comes the. You'll see a little box that has some instructions for you. It says DS al coda. Now, for those of us that don't know what that means, that stands for dal segno al coda. Dal segno means we're looking for the DS sign. So we're going to go on a little scavenger hunt through our music. We're going to turn back, right back to measure 9. If you look right above measure 9, you should see this funky little S shape with a line through it and 2 dots. That's your dal segno sign. It looks kind of like a fancy DNS if you look at it closely. It's right above measure 9. All right, so we just left off on that past page. Here comes the snow, and we land on snow right on measure 9. Let's try that. So go back to the page we were on, back to measure 40, and we're going to practice turning the page back on here. Here comes the snow, and let's go on. All right. Here comes the snow. It's falling down. It's falling gently upon the ground. Here comes the snow. It's falling down. It leaves a blanket upon the ground, ground. And now we're back to measure 17. Now, we just went back to the dal segno sign. So we're not going to follow the instructions again, taking us back to the dal segno. Now we're paying attention to that part in the instructions that says al coda. So now we're looking for a part in our music that says coda. If you look on that last page, you should see a little plus sign with a circle through it. That's your coda sign. So instead of going back, we're just simply going, here comes the snow, and that's the end of the song. So let's take it back from measure 33 and practice going to the coda this time. Here we go. And that's the end of the song. So, great job. Let's see if we can practice that whole thing, just part 1. So remember, when you actually are practicing this with the track, you want to be really especially careful at measure 25, the floating section where we sing peacefully. Make sure you've got that upper note. Try not to listen down because that's where part 2 is going to be. That's the part you have to be really careful. All right, let's try it for all the way through. So go back to the first part of your music, and we are starting right at measure 8, pick up to measure 9 for Here Comes the Snow. This is the part we're on our own. Here we go. Dal segno. Coda. And that would be the end of the song. Great job. Now, if you didn't get all that, don't panic. Take a couple deep breaths. You're going to have plenty of chances you can practice this over again. You can pause it. You can start in a place that you weren't so sure. Keep working on it, and it's going to get a little bit easier every single day the more and more you practice it. As always, I'm here to answer any questions that you have about this, and I hope you have a great practice.